The movie begins with an old man dragging a seemingly dead woman by her hair through the middle of a road. The scene then cuts to three delinquent Detroit friends, Alex, Rocky, and her boyfriend, Money, breaking into an affluent home. It turns out they regularly break into houses and steal valuables for a living. After Alex disables the security system, they begin to grab the nicest-looking items they can get their hands on. When they're done, they throw a rock through the plate glass door, turn on the alarm, and run. Rocky lives with her little sister Diddy, their abusive mother Ginger, and her boyfriend Trevor. Because of their precarious living conditions, she promises to Diddy that she will get both of them out of there so they can start a new life in California. Meanwhile, Alex lives with his father, who is ironically a policeman. Apparently, Alex's father is never home and he works double shifts at the local police station. Using this to his advantage, Alex uses his father's computer connections to look for wealthy people to rob. The next day, Money sells the goods they stole to his dealer, Raul. The latter also gives him a tip about a man named Norman Nordstrom living in a house at 1837 Buena Vista Street. It's an abandoned Detroit neighborhood, and Nordstrom is an Army war veteran. He lives alone, and it turns out that he has $300,000 in cash in his house. Apparently, some years ago, Nordstrom's daughter was run over by a wealthy young girl named Cindy Roberts, and the cash is the settlement he received from the Roberts family to go away without causing Cindy any legal trouble. In the next scene, when Money briefs the plan to his group, Rocky is quickly on board, but Alex is apprehensive about the plan because they don't normally steal cash, especially more than 10 grand, as it's a major larceny which could land them 10 years in prison if they get caught. Rocky tries to convince him by explaining that this could be the last robbery they ever have to pull off. However, Alex refuses to be a part of this and leaves. Later, he receives a text from Rocky pleading with him to get on board, as the sum could help her get her little sister out of an abusive household. It's then revealed that Alex has a crush on Rocky, and because of this, he eventually relents. Shortly after, the three conduct research on the house, and they learn that it's located in a slum neighborhood. It's the only occupied house on the street since every other house is condemned. They also learn that the man is blind and he has a vicious Rottweiler dog. Alex thinks it's messed up to rob a blind guy, but Money says just because he's blind doesn't mean he's a saint. That night, the three initiate the robbery at 2 a.m. They head toward Nordstrom's house and drug the dog unconscious, allowing them a safe entry into the house compound. They then try to gain entry through the main door, but realize that the Army veteran is sharper than he looks. Apparently, the old man has put 4 locks on the front door. The thieves have the keys to 3 locks from Nordstrom's security provider, but it turns out Nordstrom hasn't shared a spare key to the 4th lock, even with his security providing company. This puzzles the trio, but they quickly shrug it off and go around the house. Soon, Rocky notices an old and small bathroom window and manages to break into the home through it. She nervously walks around the house and disables the security system. However, she takes a long time to open the back door, which worries Alex. This low key pisses Money off, and he taunts Alex for having a crush on Rocky. Shortly after, Rocky eventually returns and opens the back door. They take their shoes off and look around the house for the cash. Money goes upstairs and finds the blind man sleeping with the TV on. It's then revealed that the man has hidden a revolver under his bed. Soon, the blind man wakes up when he hears a noise. Money panics, but the man just turns the TV off and goes back to sleep. Money then gasses the room to ensure that the man won't hear anything. In the next scene, the three find a locked door that leads to the basement. They think this is where they'll find the man's stash. Money tries to pick the lock but fails to unlock it. Refusing to give up, he pulls out his gun and shoots the lock, creating a loud noise, much to Alex's disapproval. Afraid of the legal repercussions, Alex tries to convince Rocky to abandon the mission, but when she refuses, he decides to quit and proceeds to leave. Unfortunately, the loud noise wakes the blind man and he shows up downstairs, demanding to know who's intruded into his home. Afraid of the man calling the police, Money starts talking and says he doesn't want trouble. However, when the man proceeds to walk towards him, Money decides to pull a gun out on the man. But surprisingly, being a war veteran, the blind man senses the nervousness in Money and he keeps moving forward towards the thief. As he slowly gets closer, the blind man ultimately grabs the gun from Money's hand and pins him against the wall. The blind man then asks Money how many of them there are in the house, and when the latter replies that it's just him, he is shot through the neck and killed. As a distraught Rocky hides inside a nearby closet, the blind man drops Money's body to the floor. On the other hand, Alex overhears the commotion and returns to rescue Rocky. However, the blind man starts locking up all the doors and windows, including the bathroom window, forcing Alex to hide. He then opens a hidden safe to check his money. Rocky watches it all transpire, and she also sees the code to the safe. After the blind man leaves, Alex goes to find Rocky and reunites with her in the closet. He suggests calling the cops, but Rocky steps out of the closet and opens the hidden safe. She then takes out all the cash and asks Alex's help in getting out of the house. Alex tells her that they can sneak in through the basement and out the cellar door that leads outside. However, as they head toward the basement, the man emerges from there. The two keep quiet as the blind man drags Money's dead body to another room. Up until this point, he's still oblivious that there are other intruders in his house. Meanwhile, Rocky and Alex head downstairs. There, they try to find their way to the cellar door. Meanwhile, the blind man finds Rocky and Alex's shoes and realizes that there are more people inside the house. Worried, he checks his safe again and gets shocked to find it empty. Back in the basement, Rocky is startled by a woman who's been chained up to the wall. He and Alex are freaked out and almost leave until the woman holds up a newspaper article. It's revealed that her name is Cindy and that she's the woman who accidentally killed the blind man's daughter. Shocked by the revelation, Rocky and Alex free her and carry her toward the cellar door. Unfortunately, the blind man shows up just when they manage to open it. He fires the gun and strikes Cindy in the face, killing her instantly. Terrified, Rocky and Alex hide, and the man finds out he shot Cindy. He cries over her body and yells in rage. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Alex picks up the man's keys and decides to make it back to the front door. As he and Rocky head back upstairs, the blind man turns off the lights in the basement, leaving them all in total darkness. Rocky and Alex feel around for each other as the man starts shooting here and there. Rocky almost touches the blind man, but Alex calls her name in the nick of time. Fortunately, the two of them again manage to get out of the place unharmed. Alex then holds the door closed with a crowbar. Next, he and Rocky try to open the main door, only to find the dog has woken up and is ready to attack them. They run from the dog and trap it in a room. Unfortunately, the blind man has gotten out of the basement and he attacks Alex. He punches him multiple times in the face and appears to impale him with garden shears. He then finds Rocky and knocks her out too. Later, Rocky wakes up in the basement, chained in the same spot as Cindy. She tells the blind man that this won't bring his daughter back. However, the lunatic man says that's not entirely true. He impregnated Cindy to give him a child to make up for the one she killed, and that he would have let her go once she gave birth. With Cindy dead, his unborn child has died as well, and he holds Rocky accountable. Saying this much, he cuts open a hole in Rocky's pants and grabs a baster filled with his semen sample. The old man then prepares to impregnate Rocky, but luckily, Alex gets up and grabs a hammer. He whacks the blind man over the head and frees Rocky. They then handcuff the man to a pole, and soon after, Rocky starts kicking the man. Before leaving, she also stuffs the baster down his own throat. After the altercation, the two decide to not involve the cops as it would lead them into further trouble. In the next scene, Alex and Rocky head back upstairs to leave. They manage to open the front door, but the blind man once again gets up and shoots Alex dead. Turns out that he freed himself from the handcuffs using his army techniques. Terrified, Rocky makes a run for it, but the man lets his dog out. Somehow, Rocky reaches Money's car and tries to make it in before the dog gets her, but she inadvertently drops the bag containing the cash. Despite this, she cleverly opens the trunk and traps the dog inside. After this, she heads back out to grab the money, but the blind man arrives and knocks her out once again. After a while, the man drags Rocky back to his house to finish the job. Suddenly, a ladybug flies onto Rocky's hand, giving her a boost of confidence and hope. She grabs the control to the alarm system and sets it off, causing the man to become disoriented. Rocky then grabs a crowbar and whacks the blind man over the head multiple times until he falls into the basement. This finally convinces Rocky that the man is dead, so she grabs the money and leaves the house before the cops show up. Later, Rocky is seen with Diddy at the Detroit airport, ready to start their new lives. There, a news report on TV shows that the blind man was found alive, and that only 2 burglars were reported as breaking into his home, and that he killed both of them. The movie ends as a nervous Rocky takes Diddy with her, hoping to never see the man again.